everyone, it's Miriam with a Y. Let's have some fun with just a couple of alcohol inks. I'm using 3 Piñata colors, but you can use any inks you like. We'll use an airbrush and do some embellishing at the end. If you'd like to know more about the airbrush that I'm using and why I chose it, I'm linking a video all about that for you now at the top and in the video description box below this video. All right, let's get started. To make life easier, I had thinned my inks with 91% isopropyl alcohol. I know that alcohol is scarce these days, so thinning your inks is also doable with blending solution, or my preference is doing it with Piñata cleanup solution. I've done complete paintings with this solution as my thinning agent for my inks, and it works beautifully. I'm starting my piece by placing a few drops of thinned blue-violet on my substrate, which in this case is GRAFIX opaque white plastic. With my airbrush, I'm blowing at the ink from about 8 inches above the piece. I'm staying at that distance to prevent getting little finger-like protrusions like this on my edges. I like this finger look too, but today I want a flowing kind of fabric look, so I prefer smooth edges for that. If I bring the airbrush too close, like let's say 4 inches away or less, I would dramatically increase the likelihood of getting those kind of finger edges. Now you also see me turning the piece and or moving the airbrush to blow at what I call the wall of wet ink. I'm doing that to ensure that I get the look of pretty folds in my fabric looking pieces. And I can direct where those folds end up with the flow of air. Now, if I just let the pools of ink dry on their own without pushing them around, I'd get either fewer fold of fabric lines or more concentric lines like this, which is also a fun look, but again, it's not what I'm after for this piece. So I am pushing the ink around with the brush. I've taped my piece of GRAFIX plastic to a Lazy Susan just to make it easy to move the piece around. If you have that option, I really recommend it. It gives you a lot more freedom when moving the piece, and it lets you make your adjustments a bit faster. For this piece, I've chosen colors that I think will blend well so that I can overlap the colors without worrying that I'll get a yucky color in the process. So no matter how the colors touch and blend, I should be okay. Now, if you aren't sure when choosing your colors, do a little test on a scrap piece just to make sure they, work well together. Or if you want to use colors that might not look so good when blended, just avoid letting them overlap. At this point, I'm just having fun creating shapes and movement. I'm kind of seeing organza, like billowing in the wind, and I'm really liking the effect. I'm adding ink and blowing it around until I'm happy with the overall composition, Well, you know, as composed as an abstract piece can be. Now, of course, I could stop here. It's pretty, I think. But another reason for making this piece is to have some, you know, meditative, stress-relieving fun. So, to that end, I'm going to add lots of dots along edges that were created by the inks. Now, there are a couple of options for ways to make those dots. The first, and probably most readily available if you're working with the inks, is to use a fine point microbrush or dotting stylus, or a toothpick even can do it, and a couple of drops of isopropyl alcohol or blending solution or cleanup solution, whatever you have on hand that can cut through the ink and let you, in effect, make little like divots almost in your painting, which let the white of the plastic show through again. This option works well, but it does require dipping the brush or whatever tool you're using repeatedly to get more alcohol or solution. And it also requires being kind of careful to put down really tiny drops so that they stay little dots on the painting. Because if you put down too big of a dot, it will spread and become like a blob as opposed to a, you know, pretty little dot. So you got to be a little careful about how much you put down. A possibly easier option is using a gel pen or paint pen. Now I'm using a Uniball Signo white gel pen just to show you how that works. It's got a nice opaque white ink and a teeny tiny tip, so I can't accidentally make too big a dot. Many of you have Posca pens, and these can do the job too. The advantage of Posca pens is that they come in so many sizes and so many colors, so you can really get creative with your embellishments. I'm gonna finish adding dots with the Posca pen now. Again, the dots are for fun, and the process of adding them is kinda oddly relaxing, I gotta say. What are your thoughts about the dots? Would you add them? Do you enjoy embellishing your pieces, or do you kind of paint and stop? Tell me in the comments. Okay, so now I've dotted to my heart's content, and once again, I can certainly stop here, but, you know, we've got time. We're sitting at home, so let's add some bling. I'm going to add a couple of areas of gold leaf patches. To give you an idea of what I'm planning, I'm quickly sketching in part of the layout of those patches with a pencil. Now, in order to attach gold leaf, you need an adhesive that dries sticky. I like this one by Speedball. It's designed especially for this task. And I've just put some in a convenient little bottle to make dispensing it easy. We're not going to need much at all. Just a couple of drops. And with anything that you find convenient, paint the spots that you want to be covered in gold or silver or copper, because leaf comes in different colors. The goal with the adhesive is to put it down in whatever shape or pattern you want and let it dry completely without disturbing it or letting anything touch it in the meantime. Because it still looks shiny when it's dry, It's kind of hard sometimes to know for sure if it's dried, so I usually wait a good half an hour to make sure that it's totally dry. Adding metal leaf to adhesive that's still wet becomes kind of messy and gooey, and yeah, just let it dry completely. Walk away from it if you have to, but let it be bone dry. Now that the adhesive is dry, it's time for the leaf. The kind that I buy comes in sheets that are separated by tissue, and I save scrap pieces for future projects. If you've never used this before, make sure to work in a draft-free area. No fans, no sneezing, no heavy breathing. Metal leaf is lighter than feathers, and it will blow around with the slightest disturbance of air. So minimize air current as much as possible when you're using this. All I'm doing to attach the leaf is adding pieces to anywhere I have adhesive. The adhesive is easily going to grab onto the leaf. If you want a smooth look to your leaf, you might want to use a brand new sheet from the pack. But since the painting has kind of a smooth, flowy look already, I kind of want the contrast of a little texture, so I'm using more wrinkled pieces of leaf on purpose. When all the adhesive is fully covered with the gold leaf, I use a brush to sweep away any extra pieces. What the brush is going to do, it's going to easily break away any extra leaf that's not being held down by adhesive. And then you can save your scrap pieces if they're big enough. And then before putting everything away, make sure that you've got the coverage you wanted. You can always add more if you want. You know, just paint on a little bit more adhesive here and there if you want a little bit more. Let it dry, add more leaf. You know, have fun with your kind of embellishment. So now I'm curious again. What are your thoughts about adding the leaf? You can write words, add borders, dots. Whatever you can paint with the adhesive, you can put down with the leaf. Tell me what you would do. I would love to hear your thoughts. I hope you'll give these ideas a try, and I hope you'll come show off your work in my Facebook group. Remember that links for everything I used are in the description box below for you. Thank you for spending some of your time with me. Remember to let your creative nature shine. See you soon. Bye now.